Alright, so this is a short video of how to do a basic recording for live Delta. See right there. So as you can see, we are currently in our mixer window. This is the further range right there. So first thing we have to do is, I'll deselect that. So that's track activator. So you have to activate it. Click that, and you have to also have to arm, and you see it automatically goes to monitoring. I'm going to turn that off, just so once we're done recording we can hear it back right away, but it'll still record. Let's go down here to the bus to see if we're getting any input, and we are. See right there. The output, obviously nothing because we haven't recorded anything. So I'm just going to do a standard record. You see that's selected, arm, the track is activated, or else you wouldn't be able to hear it. And let's go ahead and we have to arm it up here as well, just like a tape player, and hit play. Test 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. And for some reason that does not seem to want to work. Here's the problem. I'm actually glad that happened. You have to go back to the mixer window, and you see this has no input. This is the input. It's the input type right there. Oh, it disappeared. You have to go to live in. Now, sometimes when you open this, or when you maybe open it for the first time, you might see the mixer window like this. And you'll see, whoa, it doesn't say input anywhere. You have to go to view and make sure in out is selected. Now you see the in and the out, and you see we have levels. Let's go back to the range window, and that's another thing too, was when you see it's now red, which means it's ready to go. Last time it was only gray. The monitoring is still chosen, but I'm actually going to experiment something, because in the past what I've seen is that you can't play back or can't hear the playback with the monitoring on. Let's just leave it on for the heck of it and keep the track activator on. Let's record something. Okay, we armed the master recording and hit play. Now see, okay, test 1, 2. I'm going to hit this arrow to expand it so we can actually see the waveform. And you see right there. So it is recording. So I'm going to hit stop. And we're going to try playback. See if we hear anything. And we don't. That's what I was afraid of. So that's why I suggest to right away deactivate monitoring. I mean, monitoring is important so you can see the levels, but as long as you are within the range and everything, you can still see the levels over here, so you'll know if you're clipping or not. But I'm going to deactivate monitoring so that we don't have to worry about so we can record and then play back right away. So let's try playing back again. Now see, okay, test 1, 2. Okay. I'm going to hit this arrow to expand it so we can actually. So it was playing. And okay. So just to kind of go over again, let's deselect everything here. So if you have like this, you hit. Well, okay, first you want to activate it. Then you want to hit record, and then turn the monitor off. Okay. And make sure the live that's the input. Sometimes it's none. I think they do that to prevent feedback when you first open the project file. So yeah, and we're just going to do another thing here. This is the playback here, so that's where it's going to start recording. Going to do another test. You see we got level here. I'm going to keep the monitoring off and try recording again. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 3. and you see that is all good to go. Now let's say you want to delete a track, or a take rather. You just single click here and hit the either delete or backspace button depending on if you have a Mac or PC, and it's gone. And then if you make a mistake, you can always do Control Z or Apple Z, again depending on PC or Mac. Now let's say you want to bounce this down. So what you want to do, well, I'm going to show you what will happen if you try to do this. So do render to disk. Please select the span of time to render. So the program's saying we don't know what to bounce down. So just anywhere on here, just drag your mouse, just like you would highlighting text in a Word document. So you have that selected. We'll do render to disk, and usually the default settings are fine the way they are. Notice that it can only bounce down to a WAV and AIFF. What I'm going to show you next is how to turn this into an MP3 version, which is good for emailing to other people so they can listen to whatever you recorded, kind of like as a test. So we're just going to do AIFF because that's a good file size or file type. Hit OK, and it's going to take a second. Okay, so it's asking where you want to save it. I suggest, unless you already have a folder dedicated to this recording or project you're working on, it was just like a single thing, just so it's easy to find. I would suggest the desktop like it is now, because you can always find stuff. You always know where the desktop is. You don't have to worry about looking through all these folders. So I'm going to select desktop, and let's do record test. Okay, so hit save. See down there is rendering audio to disk. Okay, so we'll go ahead and minimize this. Now I'm going to show you how to. Okay, here you go. So this is the file we just made. I'm going to show you the info here, properties, and AIFF audio, 3.9 megabytes. Now that was only a few seconds long, so generally when it's uncompressed like this, size-wise, a general rule of thumb is 10 megabytes per minute. So if you have an hour-long recording, it's going to be 600 megabytes or a little over half a gig. With MP3, it's about 10 times smaller, so generally 1 megabyte per minute. And that's usually pretty good. And I mean, obviously you don't want to edit. If you're doing massive editing, you don't want to edit MP3. But if you're bouncing down for tests or sending it to somebody over the internet, MP3s are good to go. So I'm going to show you, this is kind of a trick to do. You can use iTunes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to right click to open with iTunes, and it should start playing the piece of recording right away. A little pinwheel of death here, and just waiting for this guy to open up. Okay, so should be adding the track, because that's how I have my settings. Automatically add. Okay, so automatically added. Now, that's kind of a problem sometimes, because if you don't have iTunes open already, it'll do what it just did. It'll add it, but it won't play it. So you don't know where it is. So you can do a couple things. Either you can open it again, or you can just search your library. Record test. Hit enter. Okay, so here we go. This is us. We're just going to play it just to be safe. Now see, okay, test 1, 2. I'm going to hit this arrow, and that is what we recorded. I'm going to right click get info. And as you can see, it's AIFF audio file, and that's not what we, well, it's what we want for right now, but we want to convert it into MP3. So all you have to do is this. Right click again, scroll down to MP3 version, wait for the dialog box to pop up. Oh, never mind. You see, and that little sound shows that that's the MP3 version. So right click again just to confirm, get info, and you see MP3. Now you might be saying, okay, well, where is the MP3? How can I get to it? The easiest thing to do is, again, to right click, select Show in Finder, or in on Windows it would be Reveal in Windows, and single click. It's going to pull this up, and this is the actual, see all these folders. This is the actual folder organization that iTunes does in the background. So now with how we have the file, again, I'm going to make it easy to find for when I'm doing my email. So again, right click, copy, go over to desktop, right click anywhere, and select, where is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. Go to edit and then paste item. And there we are. So now you see, it's not even a megabyte. It's much smaller, but it sounds the same. Now see, okay, test 1, 2. And this is good for basic applications. Now, depending on how often you use iTunes, if at all, you might say, okay, Colin, I right-clicked on it, but it doesn't say MP3. That might happen if you go to Preferences, or you can double-check the settings. Go to Import Settings. So this is telling you how they want to import either MP3 or AIFF.